Alright, so, huh? What happened? You was worried about my hands?
I am worried about your hands, but that's
I got
not.
you. I'm not gonna talk about my
I
hands.
was gonna say everybody.
In case you want to try to touch me or something. Alright.
You watch your hands.
Nicole and I was sitting here talking, and we was discussing goals over roles, and on some of our other platforms, it looked like it comes so easy to us, and I just think, not everyone understands that this has been a work in progress. You know what I mean? So, how do you feel we have arrived to this point?
No, you always do that.
No. How we arrived to this point, number one thing is communication.
Yeah.
That's something that we've gotten really good at over the years, and something that I have to admit I wasn't always good at. I was a good listener, but not a good communicator. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens is, in most cases, or at least this is what Nicole used to do to me. She'd think about this thing, wherever it was that was bothering her, for about a month and a half, and then she run down on me out of nowhere with, all these bullet points. She got her whole argument. She's totally prepared for the discussion, and she ambushed me out of nowhere. And then, of course, I'm going to engage in the conversation because I know what she has to say is important. I want to hear it. I'm listening. But, my comeback may not be, as fast as she wants. So now after she said all of that, she mad because I ain't got much to say. But what have you come to realize? I'm going to tell you what you have come to realize. That I need a minute to gather my thoughts together. You can't just ambush me.
No.
With 101 things.
You always have been a good listener, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you would sit there and listen, and then you wouldn't engage in the conversation, right?
Right. I mean, engaging is also listening, making sure that you're heard. I just may not have had the reply that you was looking for in the moment. It just
felt like communication would not come full circle.
In that moment, but it would.
No, but sometimes you didn't come back. Like in theory, you thought you were going to get your thoughts together.
Yeah. No, because now that's back when I used to think that you would just forget about it, and that I could just, kind of just brush it under the rug. But then I realized that the longer I delayed bringing the conversation full circle, and actually having a communication circle take place, is when communication really started to happen. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna lie, that's what I would do. I would be like, yeah, she'll forget about it.
You would actually think that?
Yeah, and you used to act like you forgot about it too. And then you'll come back with it again.
I'm gonna talk to you about this.
I'll be like, oh man, you know what I mean? And I think that's when the nagging, what could be presumed as nagging and annoyance could take place. But it's really just, one person in the relationship is trying to avoid having those crucial conversations that is so important. So yeah. I think communication has been a major part of us being able to progress in marriage and life and business and everything.
Communication, like next to prayer and being like spiritually in tune, is probably like the number one thing to me.
I agree, and I think
people always say like, "Oh, you guys, it seems like it's all just online." No, like we're very good with communicating.
We talk a lot.
A
lot. Some of our best ideas come because we talk so much.
Ideas, and
resolutions,
parenting, everything happens because we talk a lot. And we bring conversations full circle. Yeah.
And then I think also taking action after the conversation take place. I think that was another thing that really helped us too. Having a conversation and then understanding what actions was going to need to take place in order to create change.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can talk all day, but if I don't know the things that I'm changing, how could I really be accountable? Mm-hmm. And vice versa. True. Right? I think that really helped a lot. Mm-hmm. But it also helped that I love listening to you.
Right.
No,
but I really think like some of our toughest seasons came when we weren't communicating well. I don't know if people really understand that, but communication is important. If you're not good at communicating, you gotta read some books.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A lot of books. I think sometimes when people think of success books and principles and things of these nature, they just think about business. Mm-hmm. But it also refers to marriage. One of the very first books that one of my very first mentors gave us was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And people always just think about business, but that one book like changed the way I deal with my wife, my kids, of course people in business, but even the lady in the old lady in the supermarket. I'm telling you, man, when your mindset and your approach is that I really want to win this person over, not in a manipulative way. Not in a manipulative way, but I really want to understand this person. And once someone feels that you understand them, they automatically want to, the interaction is more easy to deal with.
And communicating with tact, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it typically, and that affects marriages a lot too.
Yeah. Tact. That was one book that I love. I can't find it no more. It's out of publishing. I feel like I loaned it to somebody. They didn't give it back. If you're watching this and you got my book, I'd love to have it back. You know what I mean? But that's one book. And then also, John Maxwell. Many people communicate, but few connect.
Oh, that's a good
I may have the title wrong, but just look it up. Man, I'm telling you, that book is revolutionary. But it all boils down to communication. Stopping and listening, and you know what I mean? We also like to call those huddle sessions. You know what I mean?
Men don't like to feel... Well, I'm not going to say men. My husband doesn't like to feel attacked.
Right.
Yeah.
No one likes to feel attacked.
Yeah, no one likes to feel attacked. But you don't also like to be bombarded. Talking to you and bringing a conversation to you in front of the kids is not exciting for you. Like, we don't have deep, crucial conversations in front of our kids either. Because it could be demeaning. You know what I mean? We don't want our kids feeling like I'm attacking daddy or he's attacking me, so we don't ever have conversations in front of them. I mean, we do, but they're not deep conversations.
Right. Yeah, no.
Crucial conversations.
Yeah, they're going to take whoever's side. Like, if they feel you coming at me, they're going to take your side.
Because even just little things, if we get excited when we're talking about business. So if we're just talking about anything, they'll be like, oh, you guys are being mean. And we're talking about like grocery shopping or something. So kids are very sensitive to that stuff too. Very. And I think the adult is too. Nobody wants to feel like you're coming at them in front of their children.
So the time and place. That the communication.
Because that could create, the person could be defensive.
Yeah, and you can schedule it. I mean, we don't have like a set schedule. Like, oh, we're going to huddle at this time. But, it definitely has to. You can't let too much time build up before, those crucial conversations take place.
Yeah, I think, but you got to think back. Like, right now, we work together a lot.
Right.
So, we can talk a lot. At any time, but if you're not working together, you probably have to schedule it.
Okay.
Because I think you got to put it on the calendar.
I could agree with that. You're right. We do get to spend a lot of time together. So we having conversations in the car, dropping the kids off, we running around, cooking together, working. You know what I mean? You just love to talk anytime, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Nah, I got a few bullet points here on my phone. I feel like this is an important topic. I don't want to just leave it to memory and to chance. So another thing that's very important when it comes to communication is, really just asking like, what do you need help with? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, women, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective, sometimes women like to leave it to us to guess. I know it feels good when, we could just figure it out on our own. But sometimes if you want to wait for that, it just ain't going to happen. And I really believe that what we are building, what we're working towards is so important. And the speed in which we do it is so important that we ain't got no time to waste. We ain't got time to be figuring it out. This isn't a mystery. This isn't a Rubik's Cube. Listen, babe, what do you need to be most effective? What do you need from me to make you feel empowered? What do you need for me to be the best version of yourself? And let me do what I need to do in order to make that happen, and vice versa. I don't want to leave her guessing about what I need. This is what I need, babe. Boom, 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 boom. If you can take care of these things for me, I can get us to where we trying to go in half the time. And then we can come into an agreement and we can make that happen. Right? Mm-hmm. Do you find that to be effective? Yeah. That helps, right?
Yeah, especially, I mean, I don't know from your perspective, but women or myself, I'll say, we usually think like 3 or 4 days ahead or a week ahead. You're not thinking that far ahead. So I might be overwhelmed about something like the kids might have a Valentine's Day, party or something. And my mind on Monday is thinking about this party that's next Wednesday. So like I have all these things in my head and Troy's just thinking about what we have to do this afternoon. And that's where the disconnect comes because he's wondering, why are you so overwhelmed? We don't really even have that much to do today or this week. But I'm thinking 3 weeks ahead. So I think that's why asking that question, what do you need from me? Because if I tell him I gotta get the kids, then he's like, oh, okay, I see. You are thinking about way more than what I'm thinking about. Right. Let's prioritize these things to get it off your plate. And I think that helps a lot. Because it could be the man or woman who thinks that far ahead, but in our relationship...
No, you're really doing... I think the best analogy that I ever heard when it comes to that is like a computer. How a computer have all them boxes open with all of those windows, all those tabs open. That's how women, my wife brains work. She has all of these tabs open. So I just say, okay, let me help her close some of these windows. What can I take off your plate? Boom, boom, boom. The more of those windows I can get closed to help her get closed, the more time she has to focus on me. You know what I mean?
It's selfish and selfless.
Yes, it's selfish and selfless. Like, I need to close these windows because, listen, I need them eyes on me. I need some attention. I need that one-on-one time to help me rejuvenate. You know what I mean? And I think it becomes a win-win. Right, baby?
That's probably one of the things. I can say that was one of the turning, like, factors in our marriage. Right. Like, once you realize I have so much on my mind, and you weren't thinking that,
work that
like,
way.
you do not work
I'm
that
like
way.
1 or 2 steps. Let me take care of this, and then, you know, it's all
like, I'm thinking about
together.
where the kids taking for lunch tomorrow. What's for dinner tonight? You know, the laundry. I got 3 loads of laundry. Like, we thinking so many things, and then
and I love her for that because she's like a planner. She's a master planner. I'm an executor. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna bulldoze it. I'm gonna get it done, and we can. If we weren't careful to understand how we both operate, we could clash.
Yeah. Because I'm like, why aren't you thinking about these things? And you like, why are you thinking about it so much? Why are you not doing it?
And it could be perceived that I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's not that I don't care. It's just not on my radar yet. Like, lunch is tomorrow. I can think about that in the morning. 2 days, come on. Like, no, they're going to have leftovers. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They're going to have leftovers from the night before. They good. You know what I mean?
It's true, man.
Worst case scenario, free lunch. That's what I grew up eating. Nobody even packing me no lunch.
They don't get free lunch.
You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean. So, back to goals overall. Sorry, let's talk about goals for a little bit, right? And roll. So I think sometimes it's like, okay, what motivates you to do something outside of what you normally would do? You know what I mean? And I think for me, the excitement comes with knowing that we're working towards something, right? We have a destination. You know, like if we know we're going on a vacation in a month, right? It's more, you have like a light at the end of the tunnel. When you're tired and you're stressed out, you're chasing the kids around. You're like, you know, in a few weeks, I'm going to be laying on the beach with my honey. You just get that extra boost of energy, right? And that's how life is. When we clear about what we want and what we're working towards, it gives us extra energy to do what we want to do. You know what I mean? So I think it has to be clearly defined goals. And our goals, I think that helped us a lot is our goals being in alignment, right? Because what we always say, if you take 2 couples, you put them in separate rooms, tell them to write down a list of goals.
Not 2 couples.
I mean, a couple.
Take a
2 people, 2 individuals. You put them in separate rooms and have them write down their goals. Would the list look the same? Or at least 80, 70, 80% the same? In most cases, no. You know what I mean? Because the goals isn't clearly defined. And, you know, what excites you may not be exciting to me. And vice versa. So, again, that's also when it comes down to communication and just, you know, damn, babe, what are you working towards? You know what I mean? What, you know, what excites you, right? And then you won't be distracted, right?
And I think in a relationship there can be, or should be, individual goals and then family goals, or relationship goals. Like, what are you working on? Like, what might be very exciting for you at the moment is like going to the gym every morning. Like, what are the things that help you? You know what I mean? Because that all, I mean, just your mental health, just everything comes into play when it comes to that. Like, what's exciting to you and what's exciting to me? It might be like, hey, I really want to go out every other weekend for a girls' night. It really refills my cup. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But it should be clear. And then together.
Right. And also, yeah, giving that person space to pursue their personal goals. But mainly, I think we really talking about the goals that we're working towards together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those being clearly defined. Right?
I think about goals, they don't have to be like these massive, earth-shattering, Like, we're going to, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to have the next, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
You're going to build this empire together.
Yeah, like, sometimes I feel like because we're so tapped into social media and we see a lot of people doing big things, we feel like that if our goals are not, we're gonna make 7 figures this year. It's like, it seems insignificant, but it's not. Whatever the goal is for the family, it could be, we want to save whatever $10,000 this year so we can put it towards a house. Like, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be. Or the wife wants to not work after this next year. She wants to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. Whatever the goal is, it should be clearly defined, and it doesn't have to be some crazy, outlandish, like. There's no comparison to what you see other people doing.
Right. Comparison is gonna be the biggest thief of joy, because, you know what I mean? You comparing yourself to someone who's working towards and fighting for something that you don't even want. That'd be the craziest part. You looking at the neighbor because they brought a new Veek.
Yeah.
They
you
brought
don't even like cars.
Yeah, whatever they bought. Cars don't even excite you. But you comparing their car to the one you got now, that don't even make sense. You know what I mean? So, and another reason why comparison is so dangerous, because like I was telling someone earlier, Nicole and I, we always try to keep people around us who's, in life where we want to be, people that can, stretch us. So imagine how uncomfortable we would be, how stressed out we would be if we're comparing where we are now to where someone else is. No, that don't even make sense. You know what I mean? But you can look at someone else's life and say, man, you know what? That's worth fighting for. You know
and
what
I think the comparison necessarily, to me, and I don't want to say comparison, but the inspiration, and I feel like this sometimes is missed, is not in where the person is how they got there. Because a lot of times, people, even online, like, oh, you guys have all this help and blah blah, but it's like, no, but we didn't, and you didn't see that in the hardest parts of our life. Twins, no family, building a new business, trying to get out of corporate America, and all those things that we were working towards, we had no help, no nanny, no babysitter, no family coming over, like nobody. We really didn't even have any friends here. We literally had nobody.
Yeah, there was definitely
nobody cleaning, nobody cooking, nobody, nothing. So I think that's where I find inspiration. If I'm going to compare, it's not like I'm comparing what you have. I want to look at what did you do to get there, because most of the time that's where the answer was. How was y'all communicating during that season? What was y'all doing to keep y'all marriage, fun and exciting? Like, what were the things that were going on because it was not always like this.
Yeah, no,
chances are.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people ask the wrong questions. You're right. They don't understand the journey, and it takes the time to really study and understand someone's journey, and that's where the excitement
comes
from.
Yeah, he's doing everything. Look, he outsourced laundry for his wife, but you didn't see when he was doing the laundry himself. Right. When I was upstairs with 2 babies.
You ain't see when the laundry was piling up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Busting out the door.
Trying to slam the door. Somebody coming over, kicking shirts up. Like, man, I want them to see that. You know what I mean? So I think that also fuels.
You gotta understand people have messy seasons too.
Yeah. And you gotta, but you can't let them seasons stop you. You know what I mean? It's in those seasons that we communicated the most. We were super clear about where we was going. So I wasn't looking at her like, God damn, babe, you got this, you know what I mean?
I ain't got no clean boxes.
You got no clean boxes, you know what I mean? You wearing the boxes I do got, like, damn. Not only you not doing laundry, you walking around in my boxes. Like, come on, like, it can get crazy, but you have to understand, like, this is a season. I know what we're working towards. I know it's going to get greater later. You know what I mean? It's going to be nothing but Victoria's Secret around here in a minute. But, I got to weather this storm. we gonna weather it together, And I think that's what makes it fun and exciting. Then you can look back and laugh and say, damn, that was a crazy time, but it was worth it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And then you just in the next season of craziness, so.
Yeah, always get crazy. Right now, you got, kids, they want to do this, activities, that. You know what I mean? And then you got to say, okay, we here, but we know we want to go here. So now you got to make different adjustments. And yeah, and quite frankly, that's why you do start to outsource some things, and begin to make different adjustments because.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that goes back to clearly defined goals. Like, hey, it's a lot for me to be able to do all of these things. Like, I'm one person. So the
Right.
goal may be, I just want to be able to afford to not have to do the laundry.
Right.
Because I had them goals. I don't want to have to do the laundry, and I want somebody to come clean once a month or twice a month or every week, whatever it is.
Right.
And I think a man can get excited about bringing those. For me, I know you was excited. Okay, I don't want to hear you complaining about having to do it.
Yeah, no.
Not complaining, but I don't want it to be stressing you out.
Right.
So let's work towards that.
Exactly.
So you have to have accountability to the goals, right? So when we first started, I wanted to blog. You didn't really see the vision. You thought it was something for women.
Right.
So when you would be like, okay, all right, if that's what you want to do, I'll hold down the house. You can go step aside for an hour or two and work. But after a little while, it's kind of like, okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, of course the results is gonna come.
You're not looking
What?
for earth shattering. It's like if you every morning saying, okay, I'm gonna leave the house in the middle of the morning routine because that's when I need to go to the gym. Okay, fine. But then every time you're home, you're not eating properly. You doing everything you want to do, but yet you leave me in the craziest hour of the day to go to the gym. But then when you're home, you're not following up on all the things that you need to support that.
Right.
And the person starts looking at you sideways a little bit, or vice versa. Like, it could be anything.
You stepping away saying, okay, I'm working on writing this book. I need a few hours to step away. But the whole time away, you just scrolling.
Yeah, you scrolling, you
ain't do
researching.
nothing. Yeah, you research and development. Not one sentence on the page yet.
Yeah, you gotta be accountable.
Yeah, that's not adding up. You know what I mean? So just being accountable to yourself and each other. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we can't just keep working and not getting results. Because that clearly is a sign that, you know what I mean, some adjustments.
And one thing that we always ask each other that really helps is, what are you working on today?
Yeah.
I think because sometimes a person can be doing a lot of things, but it might look like nothing. And I think that happens a lot with like household chores. Yeah. It does. Because like vice versa, we've both been gone from the house and then the other person comes home. They don't even remember that you left and the kitchen was destroyed. Yeah. You know, I had to make whatever. So sometimes we say like, what are you doing? And it could just be as easy as, I'm about to make them lunch, then I'm gonna give them, help them get in a bath. And it's not questioning, it's just like, let's all be on the same page all the time. Yeah. If he's leaving, okay, I'm about to go, so it's like, everybody's on the same page. I'm not calling like, where you at? And he's not coming home like, what got done? You know what I was doing, I know what you was doing. Yeah. I think that helps.
Yeah, that helps a lot. That keeps everyone excited. Alright, roles.
There are no roles.
There are no rules, but there are roles.
There are no roles, but there are roles.
There's unspoken rules. Like, there's some things.
Every house should have roles, but no
rules. Meaning, just naturally, there's gonna be some things that you do. All right. For example, you usually, get the kids ready for bed, get them tucked in. You know what I mean? It's like you're managing upstairs, I'm managing downstairs. So I might be tucking away the house, doing this at night, while you tucking away the kids, right? Yeah. But if I need to switch into your position, I could do that. If you need to switch into mine, you need to do that. And there's gonna be instances where I may have to play both roles, or you may have to play both roles.
But I think going back to why we do that is important too, because it all goes back to communication. At nighttime, we found when we had kids that you really be needing that time to decompress. So it's also knowing like, what role should I take on that's gonna also help us to be able to bring the most to the table. Because going upstairs with the kids and they playing around and running around and you chasing them, that was not really exciting for you when they were really small. So, but it didn't bother me, and actually I found joy in it. So it used to be like, you go upstairs.
But that also comes down to allowing each other to play in our strength zones.
Playing in the strength zone, yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna push you or encourage you to do something that you're not really, you know what I mean? That's not your area of expertise, right? Just knowing that, you know what I mean? You're more efficient at this and I'm more efficient at that. And it may not be traditional.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's what really defines goals over roles. If you're better at it, and typically it's something that society would say that a man should be leading on, I don't give a... Listen, babe, you need to handle this, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I think that's so important. Very, very important. And then, and then it also comes to goals, because a lot of people say, oh well, you know, I wish, you know, my husband was doing this and doing that, but also what you were saying, you know, being able to give grace and understanding what season you're in. You know, if hubby is working 18 hours a day, you also can't expect him to come home and just jump into your role and start doing everything. That really doesn't make sense either. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. You know, one person may be really truly at their bandwidth in that season, and they really can't do much more. You know?
Everything goes back to vision. So if you're having trouble with roles or not being on the same page when it comes to roles and what needs to get done, it's not, you don't start with the roles.
Right.
You start with the vision. And the vision, you build on it with communication.
Right.
And then communication, you set in place whatever y'all need to do to move the family forward. And that's when it starts moving smoothly. If you start with roles, it ain't never going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Because y'all not even probably communicating right.
Right.
And ain't no vision. That's going to keep everybody excited.
If you're starting with roles without communication, it basically just sound like, you need to do this, I'm going to do this, and that's it. Or you're going to do that and you're going to do this.
And even if y'all agree,
that's not
what's going to keep it long term?
Yeah.
The vision.
Yeah, the vision. Even when it looks like nothing is happening, it's the end result that's going to keep you excited about life. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we need to, right now, I need to talk to you, right? We need to have a huddle session, which is going to lead to a cuddle session.